Okay, let's solve this question 6 in the past exam question. Assuming the expected cash inflow per annum from your group project is 900,500 naira. We are told to construct a payback period table from year 1 to year 3, showing expected cash inflows, the present value factor at 5%, present value of cash inflow, and cumulative cash inflow respectively. And also we are asked to calculate the break-even period of the approved loan with interest. Okay, before we solve any question, let's start by writing out the information that we are given in the question. We are given that, let's say the expected cash inflow per annum from your group project is 900,500 naira. So let's say the cash inflow, please, I want you to pay attention. The cash inflow here is 900,500 naira. Okay, that's the cash inflow. Now we are going to construct, that's question number 1, construct a payback period table from year 1 to year 3, showing number 1 your expected, year is year 1 to 3, showing expected cash inflow, the present value factor at 5%, at 5%. Then 3, cumulative cash inflow, so now we are asked to construct a payback period. You see, you just have to pay attention to the question. The question has already explained everything that you need. All you have to do is to pay attention. Now we are asked to construct a table. The table must include year, expected cash inflow, the present cash inflow, the present value factor at 5%, and the cumulative cash inflow. This is the table of the payback period. You understand? On this table, I have the year, I have the expected cash inflow, I have the PV at 5%. The meaning of PV means present value. Are you paying attention? PV at 5%. I have the present value of the expected cash inflow, and I have the cumulative cash inflow. If you look at the question, you're going to see that these are all the things that they asked me to show on my table. Do you understand? So I have the year expected cash inflow, the PV at 5%, the PV of the expected cash inflow, and the cumulative cash inflow. Now let us fill this table. The expected cash inflow of the first year is the same throughout all the years. Are you paying attention? Please pay attention, okay? The expected cash inflow is the same throughout the years, because this is the cash inflow. The cash inflow is what? 900,500 naira. So it is the same throughout the year. So I'm going to have this 900,500 naira, 900,500 naira, 900,500 naira, and 900,500 naira. Do you understand? That is the cash inflow that we are given in the question. Now, how do we determine the present value at 5%? You see, there is something called discount factor table. There is something called discount factor table. We are going to use our discount factor table to determine the PV at 5%. Now, I'm going to show you the table here. Please just pay attention. I want to understand this. See, this is the table. You can see discount factor table. You can see on this top, discount factor table. Now, we need, from the question, look at the question on the board, we need the present value at 5% for year 0 now. The reason why I have 0 on this table is because in this payback period, we assume that there is a moratorium year. There is a year of moratorium. There is a year of moratorium. It's a moratorium, as I've already explained in the previous question that we solved. You understand? So during this period, the borrower is not expected to pay back the credit. Are you paying attention? So I represent it as year 0. That's why I have 0 on this payback period table. Do you understand? So now let's go back to the discount factor table. The discount, you are going to use the discount factor table to determine the present value at 5%. Now, for year 0 now, pay attention to this table, year 0. This discount factor also has a year 0. You can see this year 0 of the discount factor table. You can see at year 0 we have under 5%. That is 1. You can see year 0 under 5%. That's how to use the, I'm teaching you how to use the discount factor table right now. Year 0 under 5% is what? Is 1. Oh, it is blurred. Sorry, it is blurred. Let me quickly change it. Let me explain. You can see year 0 under 5%. Trace it under 5%. That is 1. You can see. So the present value factor at this place is what? 1. Please, do you understand I got 1? I got my 1 from the discount factor table, as I showed you earlier. The present value at 5% on the discount factor table is 1. So now, the present value of the expected cash inflow, that will be the product of the expected cash inflow and the PV at 5%. You understand? The product of these cells and these cells will give me the result of these cells. Do you understand? So that will be 900,000 naira, 900,500 naira multiplied by 1. That will be, let me change this marker, okay? Let me change the marker. That will be 900,500 naira. Please understand this. It is simple. The PV of the expected cash inflow is the product of the expected cash inflow and PV at 5%. Do you understand? So when I take the product of 900,500 naira multiplied by 1, I got this. Do you understand? Now, the cumulative cash inflow will be, pay attention, the cumulative cash inflow is the sum of all the value here and the subsequent year. The cumulative cash inflow is the sum of the PV of the expected cash inflow and the previous year. You know, there is no year before year 0. So the cumulative cash inflow of these cells will still be the same as 900,500 naira. Please just pay attention. You're going to understand, okay? See, this is the payback period. The expected cash inflow has been given in the question. This is it. And it is the same for all the year. Now the PV at 5%, I use my discount factor to get it. At year 0, it is what? 1. Now the PV of the expected cash inflow will be the product of this of these cells and these cells. So to get the value of these cells now, I multiply by 1. So I got this. Now the cumulative cash inflow. When we talk about cumulative cumulative refers to the sum of the previous year and the present year. The cumulative cash inflow will be the sum of the PV of the expected cash inflow of the previous year and the present year. Now, because we don't have any year before 0, that will be I'm going to have 0 plus this. That's why I got this. Do you understand? If you don't understand, reverse the video and watch it again. Okay? Now let's go to this place. We have known the year 1 now. We have the expected cash inflow. Now we want to determine the PV. Let's go back to our discount factor table. This is the discount factor table. Please pay attention, okay? You are going to understand. This is the discount factor table. Now we have done for year 0. Now we are in year 1 now. Year 1. Okay? You can see this is year 1. Why is it blurred? I don't know the reason why it is blurred. Please, can you? I'm very sure you can see this. Can you? This is the discount factor table on in my hand. We have year one. Year one under 5% is 0.9524. Can you see it? 0.9524. Let me point it. I don't know if it will blurred again. You can see that's it. Year one under 5% is 0.25 and 0.9524. So the PV at 5% for year one would be what? 0.9524. 0.9524. 0.9524. Do you understand? Now we want to get the PV of the expected cash inflow. That will be the product. To get the value of these sales now, it will be the product of 900,500 naira multiplied by 0.9524. Do you understand? So for this, I'm going to have 857636. 857,636. 800 and let me check. 857,636. 857,636. Okay, see, please, do you understand how I got the PV of the expected cash inflow? I take the product of the expected cash inflow and the PV at 5% for year one now. You understand? So that's how we're going to do for the other years. Now, what will be the cumulative? The cumulative cash inflow will be the sum of this and this. You understand? Please pay attention, okay? Let me draw a rule. Let me do something here. I'm coming. Pay attention. The cumulative cash inflow for this sales now will be, we are going to add this and this together. Please, do you understand? Will be equals to this. You are going to add the value that you have here and this together. You are going to get the value here. Do you understand? You are going to add the value that you have here. You are going to add this to this cells. You are going to get the value here. So 900,000 naira, 900,500 naira plus 857,636 naira. What will be your answer? That will be 1,758,136. 1,000,000. Let me check again. 758,136. So, do you understand how I got the value of these cells? If you didn't understand, pay attention again. Cumulative cash inflow for these cells now will be the sum of this and this. Do you understand? It is the sum of. The reason why I draw this arrow, you can see I draw an arrow here. You don't need to draw any arrow in the exam, okay? You don't need to draw any arrow. The reason why I draw the arrow is because I want you to understand, okay? That is the sum of this and this give me this. The sum of this and this give me this. Now let's go to year 2 now. The year 2, we've known that the expected cash inflow is the same throughout the year. So let's determine the PV at 5% for year 2. We are still going to use the same procedure. You see, I don't know the reason why it is blurred. This is year 2, Abby. You can see this is year 2. Now let's trace it to the PV under 5%. The PV under 5% is under 5% is 0. You can see 0.9070. You understand? 0.9070. 0.90. 0.9070. That's the PV. Now we want to determine the PV of the expected cash inflow. What do? We are going to take the product of these cells and these cells. Do you understand? That we are going to multiply this and this together. So 900,500 naira multiplied by 0.9700. That is 816754. 816754. 816754. Do you understand? Now we want to determine the cumulative cash inflow. The cumulative cash inflow now will be the sum of these cells and these cells. Do you understand? You are going to add this and this together to get the value of this. Let me draw the arrow again. You are going to add this and this to get the value of this. You are going to add these cells and these cells together to get the value of these cells. Do you understand? That is the cumulative. You know, you did mean media and mode now, so you should be very fast with what I'm doing here. You know, in main media and mode, median of an group data, there is something called cumulative frequency. I'm still using the same approach. You understand? So the cumulative cash inflow here will be the cash inflow of the previous year plus the PV of the expected cash inflow of the present year. You understand? So I'm going to add 1,758,136 naira plus 816,000 naira 754. So the value here will be 2,574,890. 2,574,890. That will be the cumulative cash inflow of the second year. Do you understand? Now let's determine the PV, the present value at 5% of the third year. We are still going to use our discount factor table. Okay, if you want to use the discount factor table, I'm very sure you know how to use it now. Just go to year 3 under 5%. Year 3 under 5%. If you check the table, you're going to see, I don't know the reason why it is blurred. Oh God. Okay, year 3 under 5%. You can see year 3 under 5% is what? 0.8638. Year 3 under 5%, 0.8638. So that would be the PV at 5%. 0.8638. Okay, so determine the PV of the expected cash inflow. Just take the product of take the product of this and this. Okay, multiply 900,500 naira and 0.8638. You're going to get 777,852. 777,852. Okay, now we want to determine the cumulative cash inflow. The cumulative cash inflow of these cells will be this plus this. Do you understand? That if we are going to add this and this together, we are going to add this and this together to get this. So I'm going to have 2,574,890 naira plus 777,852. That will give me 3,352,742. 3,352,742. That is 3,352,742 naira. Do you understand? So that is how to have completed this payback period now. I'm very sure you understand how I got this and this. I take the product of this and this. I got these cells. Now to get the value of these cells, we are going to add the cumulative cash inflows of the previous year plus the PV of the expected cash inflow of the present year. Do you understand? We are dealing with year 3 now. The PV of the year 3 is what? 777,852. Then I add it with the cumulative cash inflow of the previous year, which is year 2. That is what? 2,574,890. So I got this. Do you understand? So it is simple. This is what you are asked to do in the exam. Okay. Now let's deal with the second question. Now we are asked to. Oh, let me check here. Okay. We are asked to determine the break-even period of the approved loan with interest. The break-even period of the approved loan with interest. Now, Don't forget, break-even period is the period whereby the let's say a firm. Okay, let's use farmer now because we are dealing with agri finance. Okay, a farmer is neither making profit or loss. You understand? That is what we mean by break-even period. Break-even. So now we are asked to determine the break-even period of the approved loan with interest. Now, the cash inflow is what? 900,500 naira. Is that not it? That is the cash inflow. The break-even period is the period whereby that first period, the period whereby the cumulative cash inflow, that is the cash inflow that is coming, the income is greater than this. That is the break-even period. Do you understand? That will be the break-even period of the approved loan. The period whereby the cumulative cash inflow is greater than this cash inflow. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you don't understand, pay attention again. The break-even period of the approved loan is the cumulative cash is the period whereby the cumulative cash inflow is greater than the cash inflow that we used to start. The cash inflow of the cash inflow is this. You understand? Now the cumulative cash inflow of the year 0, that's the year of moratorium, is what? This. At the first year, it is greater than this. It is greater than 900,500 naira. So therefore, you can see the cumulative cash inflow of the first year is what? 1,758,136. So it is greater than 900,500 naira. So the break-even period of the approved loan is what? Year 1. Do you understand? So you can put it like this. The break-even period of the approved loan with interest is 1,758,136, because that is the year in which the first cumulative cash inflow is greater than the loan. Do you understand? That is the answer to that question. Even you can see the break-even period is year 1, and the cumulative cash inflow there is what? 1,758,136 naira. See you in the next class.